Hi all, Trev here, Summit or Nothing, taking a look back at my journey so far of the South West Coast Path. At 630 miles long and covering 4 counties, the South West Coast Path is the UK's longest national trail and can be split into 7 areas: Exmoor, North Devon, North Cornwall, West Cornwall, South Devon and Dorset, the first of which we will look at today, Exmoor. You can find my collection of vlogs on my South West Coast Path journey on my channel, so make sure that you've subscribed and highlighted the bell icon in order to receive notifications of additional videos. Exmoor is a moderate to strenuous stretch of the coastline, which offers a variety of landscapes to roam over, from mountainous moorland and tranquil woodlands to barren beaches and flat wetlands. This section also boasts some of the highest cliff tops in the UK. The Exmoor section runs between Minehead in Somerset and Combe Martin in North Devon, and is the shortest area of the trail at 35 miles and can be completed within 3 days. It overlooks the Bristol Channel with views of the Welsh coastline on the horizon.
There's Wales across there, there's the Welsh.
And some stunning moorland views when facing inland. Day 1 of the coast path is generally between Minehead and Porlock. The very start of the South West Coast Path can be found just beyond the quay of the seaside resort town of Minehead, and is signified by a commemorative marker.
That's where we are.
Yeah.
And we're going to go, don't know where.
It's about there, isn't it? Yeah.
About there.
Accompanied by my wife Donna, we soon left the seaside town behind and began the steady climb onto the coast path. This is a harsh introduction to the South West Coast Path for any newcomers to coastal walking, as we climbed for over 2 miles from sea level to a height of 240 metres, winding up through the tranquil woodland path, and for the most part denied even a glimpse of the ocean.
See the sea through the trees.
Eventually breaking out onto the high cliffs of the Exmoor landscape, we were soon given the option of 2 varying walks.
Well, we've got a dilemma here, haven't we, Don? There's a crossway. One takes you up to some fantastic views, and the other one is a rugged coast path. I'd quite like to see the rugged coast path.
And I want to see the views.
Donna and I split up here. I took to the coast, weaving my way through breathtaking deep narrow valleys known as combes, which is more of a challenge but ultimately more rewarding, whilst Donna took the high road to Selworthy Beacon, but the views were a little less interesting, overlooking the often barren landscapes.
Well, I'll come this way for the views. At the moment, all we can see is gorse bushes.
We eventually met again at Bossington Hill and headed down Hurlstone Combe, stopping a while to take in the views from Hurlstone Point, before heading down towards the quaint hamlet of Bossington. From here the landscape changed once again as we entered the flat wetlands and pebbled shoreline expanse to the village of Porlock. The second stretch of coast saw myself and Donna walking in the opposite direction as we completed the section between Lynmouth and Porlock in reverse order. The beautiful village of Lynmouth sits beneath the town of Linton, separated by the famous Cliff Railway.
Lynmouth, also the start of the Two Moors Way.
Yep, just saw the sign for that.
Lynmouth is marred by a history of tragedy which saw some incredible devastation when the village flooded in 1952, and with over 20 casualties it remains to this day the worst river flood ever seen in Britain. Again, the first part of our walk saw a progressive climb from sea level to the top of the towering cliffs above, a climb of 302 metres. In the height of spring we were spoilt with a flourish of white bluebells on our way out of Lynmouth, and before long the woods gave way to more moorland cliffsides which dramatically slope away into the ocean on this remote section of mostly unspoilt landscape. The view of the Lynmouth shoreline behind is stunning, and it seemed to us that if walking in the opposite direction, towards the coastal village, then coming into view of Lynmouth would be a welcome change from the arid moorland and lengthy stretches of woodland that the rest of the walk has to offer. We skirted inland and wound down into steep valleys, where we were pleasantly surprised to find a tea caddy left for walkers en route for the price of a small donation.
Cheers!
Cup of tea.
From here the coast path took us through 6 miles of beautiful woodland, a path winding and weaving throughout some fantastic natural scenery to an orchestra of birdsong. Secluded historical landmarks such as the Sisters' Fountain and the Coburn Church gave us something to look out for, but there are only scarce glimpses of the ocean here and there.
Oh look, that's where we've been.
We never really burst out until we arrived back at Porlock.
And there's the sea that we've been walking beside for years.
The final stretch of the Exmoor coastline is a strenuous 13 to 14 mile walk between Lynmouth and Combe Martin, which once again I walked in reverse order. Starting at Combe Martin, the initial climb from the coast to the heights of Exmoor was another killer. 318 metres from sea level to reach Great Hangman Cairn.
Coming on nothing!
But the views on the way up are a smorgasbord of rolling hills inland, golden moorland ahead and dramatic coastline below. There are some steep and winding combes throughout the route, which of course is what makes this stretch so strenuous.
Just to give you some idea of scale, sheesh.
They may be hard to climb, but these mountainous valleys are often breathtaking to look upon. And the coastline becomes more rugged, closer to that of the North Devon or North Cornwall coastlines. Once off the cliffs, the route took me on and off the winding roads on my way to the Valley of the Rocks, a collection of rocky outcrops which overlook the sea, and home to the native wild mountain goats. And this scenic section took me right down into the town of Linton. A quick ride on the Cliffside Railway joined the dots and it saw me complete my first section of the South West Coast Path, Exmoor, from Minehead to Combe Martin.